Наличие второго экрана в смартфоне Vivo Nex Dual не повлияло на прочность устройства. Пока Vivo готовится представить свой новый смартфон с выезжающей камерой, известный блогер JerryRigEverything добрался до модели Nex Dual, которая лишилась такого конструктивного решения, но зато обзавелась вторым экраном. Учитывая наличие двух экранов, тест на стойкость к царапинам, конечно, проходили оба, и оба прошли его ровно так же, как и все современные устройства. Бесполезный тест на нагрев можно и не упоминать, а вот с прочностью у смартфона все отлично.
Remember that phone from last year with the motorized pop-up camera? The Vivo Nex S? Well, Vivo is back at it again with another super innovative design, with both a screen on the front and back of their latest flagship. In the box comes with headphones, charger, and a thick bumper case to protect the phone from drops. It's time to see how much thought Vivo put into durability. Let's get started. This is the second dual-screen phone we've seen. With the Nubia X, switching screens was a carefully calculated simultaneous double button press. But with this Vivo phone, pressing one power button on the right side of the phone will activate whatever side is facing you. Much easier. It also has a 3-finger side swipe to switch between the screens on the go, which is as equally easy. So the whole point of a dual-screen phone is to 1. Look cool, but also to get rid of any notches or hole punches in the larger front display. With an additional screen on the back, all selfies can be done with the higher quality rear main cameras, instead of having lower quality front cameras taking up space inside of a notch. The main camera on this phone has 3 LED lights for better lit pictures, 2 of which can activate a circular lunar ring for more even light during pictures or video. You know, the same circular lights that YouTubers might use during makeup tutorials. I'm gonna leave the makeup tutorials to the experts, but a ring light is definitely a cool addition to a cell phone camera. The included case has a solid fit. I always have a case on my personal device, so I'm glad Vivo added some extra protection in the box. Speaking of protection, there is also an included plastic screen protector on the front surface. The guys over at Vivo are getting all the bonus points today. As you know, with my systematic durability test, we check the scratch resistance of the screen with Mohs scale of hardness. It's a pretty safe bet that if a company isn't advertising sapphire, it's probably going to be tempered glass, which is where we start seeing faint scratches at level 6, with deeper grooves at a level 7. Vivo was the first manufacturer to come out with an under-display fingerprint scanner, and the same technology is here in this phone as well. Underneath the front screen, protected by the front glass, the display shines up onto your fingerprint, and the little sensor underneath the display can tell if it's your finger or not, so you can unlock the phone securely. With 2 screens, we need double the testing, since there's twice as much real estate to cover. Let's scratch test the back. D-brand should start making clear skins for these dual screen phones. This side as well is covered by a screen protector, which makes sense. Screen protectors not only stop scratches, but also add a cushion layer of impact protection, so brittle glass doesn't shatter right away during a drop. This time, after testing all the different levels, we still find tempered glass covering the back panel, resulting in scratches at a level 6 with deeper grooves at a level 7. The rear design of the Vivo dual-screen phone is unique. Instead of a metal lip around the camera lens, the whole circular unit is glass, and protrudes just slightly over the top of the glass rear panel. With its own little screen protector, the circular camera lens is very solidly adhered to the rear panel. Even with some prying from my razor blade, it doesn't want to come off. The back panel surprisingly does have its own earpiece, a bidirectional earpiece speaker shooting out both the front and the back. This will be fun to see from the inside. It's a thin little sliver, especially here on the front side, to minimize the bezels, but the grill can come off on its own. There isn't much adhesive holding it in place. It's definitely interesting to see speaker grills on both sides of the phone. Speaking of sides, the material inside of this dual screen sandwich is metal. The long volume button and power buttons are both made from metal. The bottom of the phone has a loudspeaker and USB-C charging port, along with the dual SIM card tray, with a protective rubber ring around the opening to help keep water out. The Vivo Nex Dual display doesn't have an official IP rating, but it's good to see some steps were taken. This hole is protected, and we'll have to check the other holes from the inside during the teardown. The far side of the phone is also made from metal, along with the second power button, with Vivo printed on the surface. And what's this? Dust mine eyes deceive me? A headphone jack. You gotta love a phone with all the features. Another interesting design choice is that the edge of the screen, on both the front and the back, are surrounded by a layer of plastic. Plastic, as we know, is much softer than metal or glass, so it does provide a nice cushion layer between the hard metal sides and the clear brittle glass. So if it does happen to get dropped, it might not break as easy. It's a good thing, and not something you would notice at first glance. With the previous dual-screen phone I tested, the Nubia X, it had an LCD front panel, while the smaller rear panel was AMOLED. This phone, the Vivo Nex Dual display, has a larger rear screen than the Nubia at 5.5 inches, and is still a 1080p AMOLED. It's kinda sad when you think that the backup screen on this phone is still higher resolution than Apple's iPhone XR. No permanent marks were left on the display, even after my LiDAR was in place for 45 seconds. It might be the dual thickness of the clear camera lens glass, but even with all that heat, there is no separation of the rather unique circular lens. There's a 12 megapixel main camera, a 2 megapixel depth sensor, and another 3D camera, called TOF or time of flight for facial recognition, are all back here. The TOF camera has some pretty cool 3D scanning capabilities. I jumped into the camera app to check it out. It has the standard measure a banana features that a lot of phones have, but it also has this pretty in-depth 3D face scanning, unlocking thing that Vivo claims is better than Apple's. But I think we can all agree that this is either super creepy or super awesome. Isn't that right, Digital Jerry? The front screen is a massive 6.4-inch, no-notch, 1080p AMOLED display, this time with different placement of my LiDAR, and without the dual layers of glass. A white burn mark appeared at about 27 seconds, and never did quite recover. And now for the bin test. This phone has no moving parts, just one solid hunk of glass, metal, and plastic, and the whole contraption seems very heavy and very solid, with only a slight bend during the flex, but with no creaks, snaps, kinks, or cracks anywhere in the body, even when bent from both directions. I like where things are headed. This whole flagship phone with dual screens, 3D camera, headphone jack, and in-screen fingerprint scanner is still cheaper than Apple's budget iPhone, the XR, and Vivo's phone comes with double the internal memory. Vivo's got my attention, I'm impressed, and I'm excited to see what they come out with next. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so we can find out together, and coming out with me over on Twitter. Thanks for watching. I'll see you around.
Можно было бы подумать, что наличие второго экрана сделает смартфон менее устойчивым к изгибу, но этого не произошло. Ровно то же мы видели и в случае с Nubia X. То есть два экрана не мешают производителям делать смартфоны прочными. В итоге можно сказать, что новинка Vivo успешно прошла нехитрые испытания блогера.